What is going on, everyone? Anthony Drew Gary here, host of the How To Show, where we talk about optimizing life, money, and happiness, one how-to at a time. It is time for part 5 in our series of how to pay for college with as little debt as possible. And this time we're going to talk about senior year, we're going to wrap up our case study, and we're going to talk a little bit about some circumstantial ideas that might work for some folks, but not everyone. If this is the first time you've seen any of these videos, I'll link to the playlist up above so that you can get caught up on episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. To quickly recap, we're looking at $95,000 needed to pay for a 4-year education, and we've already whittled that down to right around $23,000, which is already well below the national average that a college graduate finishes with debt, but we can still do better. Everything in the earlier video still applies. We're still living below our means. We're living on a monthly budget, trying to keep our grades up to maintain eligibility for our merit scholarships. We're trying to be efficient with our time, our money, and I'm going to add 2 more for senior year. Don't get lazy and don't get fired. When I was a resident assistant my senior year, I saw both happen. Kids ended up needing an extra semester because they didn't finish their degree programs in the 8 semesters that were allotted. This is commonly referred to as a victory lap, but that's really tongue-in-cheek because there's no victory in the victory lap. You have to pay extra tuition, you probably have to take on extra debt, you have extra living expenses, and it delays what would be your entrance into the workforce, and you would miss out on those earnings that you would have had you been able to start full-time earlier. For the second part, do not get fired from your RA job. Keep doing what you have to do there. If you get fired as a resident assistant, that means you most likely have to move, and you have to start paying for your living expenses. Keep grinding, you can do it. From an income point of view, I really don't have anything new to add here besides what we've talked about in the past videos. Maybe you found a more efficient way to side hustle, and after working at it for 3 years, hopefully that creates some more money for you in this 4th year. Keep hunting for scholarships, even the local ones. Yes, seniors can still win scholarships, and remember, scholarships multiply scholarships. As a senior, you should be looking ahead to your next chapter of life and starting a career. A lot of the same advice that I gave in video 4 about hunting for internships will likely work in hunting for full-time jobs as well. However, you may want to start this process in October or November of your senior year because companies that run their fiscal calendars the same way the regular calendar works will be thinking about their staffing needs for the upcoming year toward the end of the prior year. While you're thinking about your job hunting situation, you may also want to touch on your Marie Kondo situation. And I can't even say that without laughing, but bear with me. Look to purge some of the items that you don't need, because unless you plan to work near the college or university that you're attending, you're most likely about to make another big move somewhere new or you're about to start a new job. And eliminating clutter will just make that process a little easier for you. And maybe you can get rid of some of those things and add some money in your pocket. Simultaneously, as you are job hunting, you will also be hunting for a place to live wherever the new location is that you're trying to find a job. Remember the power of house hacking from video 4. After we've tackled all of these things, let's see how we're doing now with our costs and our final breakdown for our case study. Like in the past videos, we're focusing on the yellow cells. We're going to land another local scholarship because we're still hunting for those. We're going to continue to do some side hustles, and we're going to get a little better at them than we were in junior year. And for this time around, we're not plugging anything into summer jobs because hopefully start of summer after senior year, we are starting a full-fledged career job. And so we'll leave that out for now. When we started out, we tried to figure out if we could pay all the way down on a $95,000 education. And based on what I've laid out so far, we are at $20,176 that we would need to borrow or have in student loan debt. And I don't think it's out of the question at all to suggest that somebody who continued to live a really simple lifestyle once they started working could knock this out in as little as 1 year, maybe 2 at worst. Remember, these numbers are predicated on the worst case scenarios. Nothing saved for college, not eligible for grants, and no parental help. And who knows, maybe your school doesn't raise tuition 3% every year. Each situation is going to be slightly different, but anyone can use these principles to graduate with significantly below average student debt and your total number may even be less than 20,000. All right, now that we've made it through all 4 years of the case study, I want to touch on some options that are circumstantial to specific situations. Now, not everyone will be eligible for all of these items, but they are worth a mention. When you fill out the FAFSA and your award letter comes back, folks and families who have lower than average incomes will therefore have lower than average expected family contributions, and because of that, you may get access to the Pell Grant or other state-specific need-based grant programs, and this is money that never has to be paid back. This reiterates the importance of filling out the FAFSA, and I still recommend filling it out as early as possible, January 1st if you can. Along the same lines, if you find yourself in a situation where your family does not make as much money as the average for your area, check with colleges as well, because there's a good chance that the colleges or the standardized test providers may have some sort of waiver for the application fees for people in these situations. When you are searching for scholarships, consider all of the different demographics which you might be considered. There are millions of dollars worth of diverse scholarships available for different genders, races, nationalities, religions, political affiliations, association members, organization members, on and on and on. And there are millions of dollars worth of scholarships that go unclaimed every single year. You have to dig for them though. If by chance you're applying to the same school that someone in your family has attended, find out if they have any legacy scholarships available. Legacy scholarships are usually only available for situations where you have that family connection, but this is really easy to ask the question, and the worst that you can hear is no. If you have served in the military, there are ways that the military can help you pay for college. I am not an expert in this world, but I recommend that you talk to someone who is to make sure that you're taking advantage of that opportunity due to the fact that you've served your country, and if you have, thank you for it. For some folks who have parents who have saved for college or can help cash flow, remember, if you follow all the steps that we've lined out already, you're only looking for $20,000. If you're in one of those situations, that could bridge the gap to get you to graduating debt-free. It is possible that your high school has some sort of dual credit enrollment opportunities where you can earn as much as an associate's degree while you're still in high school. It is worth noting, however, that not all degree programs will be able to be completed in any sooner than 4 years if you try to go down one of these routes. For example, I went to architecture school, which required 8 sequential semesters of design studio that had to be stacked on top of one another. So even if I would have been in one of these dual credit situations, I still would have had 8 semesters at the university. Take a look at colleges and universities that are built on some sort of debt-free principle. College of the Ozarks is the one that comes to mind, and it's the one I'm most familiar with. And basically, you commit to working a certain number of hours while you're a college student, and they commit to you graduating without any debt. Now, there are a very small percentage of the overall college and universities that work on this model, but it's worth considering if it's something that might be of interest to you. For some, it may make sense to live at home and go to community college for 2 years. Community colleges are almost always cheaper than full state schools. But again, not all degree programs will see this benefit, and this would require you to forego the resident assistant route, and not everyone can continue to live at home once they've graduated from high school. So this is something that needs to be weighed from all the different circumstances that could play into it. To continue, any plan that would have you living at home for additional time beyond high school, it negates the inherent developmental benefits of moving out of your parents' home and learning to live, budget, and function on your own. I just want to make sure that is noted because it is worth something. If you have a parent or a family member who works for a university, there's a good chance that you can go to that school for either free or significantly discounted tuition. Now, even if that school is not your dream school per se, it's still worth taking advantage of that benefit. Even if you don't have someone in your family tree, maybe it's possible to get some sort of on-campus or more specifically full-time maintenance position or some type of full-time position with the university that might allow you to realize that benefit by yourself. Again, this might negate the opportunity to be a resident assistant, but it's worth checking out if that's something that is available at a school that you're interested in. Look to see if your state has a 529 account tax credit. Now, you want to consult an accountant to make sure that you understand the rules in your state. But I Googled this and it said that 40 out of the 50 states have some sort of state tax credit for contributing to one of these types of accounts. If nothing else, you might be able to contribute money for a short term using some sort of insured FDIC investment option and pull the money out a week later to use it to pay for college immediately. And therefore, you get a tax break at the state level for contributing money to one of these accounts, even though you're pulling it out right away. It's my understanding that there is no time frame in which this money needs to be sitting in one of these accounts. But again, consult a tax professional in your state. You may be able to negotiate your scholarship package from your school. Publications like U.S. News and World Report rank colleges based on their student body's average test scores, GPA, class rank, percentage accepted versus rejected, and on and on. If you are academically better than the average of the student body for the school that you're applying to, then challenge the school's financial aid department and ask them if they can do any better than what they've offered. I've heard of this working. I've never tried it myself, but if you statistically would improve the average statistics of that school, this is worth a shot. The worst that they can say is no. For some folks, it may make sense to live at home and work for a company that pays for college. Companies that come to mind are Walmart, Papa John's, Chipotle, Amazon distribution centers, UPS, and I'm sure there are plenty of others. However, you want to be careful about these programs to make sure that the option is a good one for you. These programs vary in their prestige, and that may matter to future employers if you're trying to get a job working for someone else. However, if you're planning to work for yourself, this may not matter as much. The key here would really simply be learning the skills needed to be successful. So this is not a one-size-fits-all solution. You have to make sure that this works for you. Check and see if your school has an on-time completion scholarship, something to reward kids that graduate in 8 semesters. On-time graduation is another metric that publications like U.S. News and World Report use to rank schools, so see if this is available. This was worth $500 at the school that I went to, so every little bit helps. In our case study, we talked about working internships and summer jobs between semesters, but maybe you work 2 jobs during that time. Maybe you work an internship during the day and you wait tables or do some sort of retail work at night. Every little bit will help you get a little closer to graduating with less debt or no debt. Grind it out. Also, you may want to see if your internship has the opportunity to go part-time once you return to school the following year. This is probably only feasible if the company is in the same area as your school, or you're able to do some sort of remote work that's probably computer-based in some way. But this might be the best shot that you have at making the highest hourly rate while you are back at school. To wrap that up, if the advice that I gave to everyone in the case study could get someone to only graduate with 20 grand worth of student debt, there's a good chance that some combination of the circumstantial ideas could get someone to graduate debt-free or maybe even with a positive net worth. Again, these are circumstantial. They may not apply to everyone, but pick and choose the ones that might apply to you and get your number down as low as you can. If you are still with me to the end of this How to Pay for College series, I want to thank you for watching all 5 parts. It has been a bunch of fun for me to put this together, and I hope you were able to take something away that you can use in your life or be able to share it with somebody else who's close to you who may be able to benefit. Please, if you've gained any value from this series, hit the like button on all the videos to make sure that other people are realizing that it's worthwhile content to watch, and please subscribe so that you can see new videos as they're released. As always, if you know anybody at all who can benefit, share it with them on your social media, share it in emails. You can share the links on anthonydrewgary.com. If we can help one person graduate with less debt than they might have had otherwise, it is all worth it. Until next time, this is Anthony Drew Gary, host of The How To Show, signing off.